Hey guys, Crystal Grace here and welcome back to another pick a card reading. This one is all about why people admire you. So we have three piles to choose from. Pile number one, we have the Nine of Pentacles with the Sodalite crystal. Pile number two, we have the King of Wands with the Adventuring crystal. And pile number three, we have the Tower with the Clear Quartz crystal. So take a moment to connect with one of the stones or the cards. A quick disclaimer while you are doing that. If a reading begins to trigger you in any way, please opt off of the reading and trust that that message is not for you today. Maybe this channel is not for you, and that's absolutely okay. There's thousands of tarot readers on YouTube that you will easily connect with. So you won't necessarily connect with all of us, and you definitely will go through phases where you won't connect with your favorite readers too, because that's just inevitable. Your energy will shift, and as will mine. So with that said, let's jump into it. Let's find out how you admire it. Well, why you admire people. Why do people admire you? Oh, I'm just going to do a quick shout out that I have been in my mining job all day today. So, yeah, it's been a long day. Pile number one, welcome to your reading. Those of you who chose the Sodalite crystal, or maybe you're more drawn to the beautiful Nine of Pentacles card. Obviously, Pentacles is Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, an earth sign. So this doesn't necessarily have to be a sun sign. It could be your moon sign, rising sign, Mercury, Venus, or Mars. Specifically though, if you're looking at timing, Venus in Virgo, okay, is affiliated with the Nine of Pentacles. Just a quick energy check-in on the basis of this. So, you know, the Sodalite stone is very heavily connected to the throat chakra, and the woman in the card is wearing a blue dress. So, I don't know, some of you may make money through voice activation, so you may be required to talk a lot in your everyday today job. Some of you may be exploring the idea of utilizing your voice to make money. It could be singing, could be counseling. I'm seeing fashion as well when I connect. Some of you may want to like get into flowers as well, like selling flowers like a florist. Although like with the Nine of Pentacles, when I think about the kind of people who have picked this card, I feel like you are very materially I was going to say self-assured, but that doesn't really... Maybe you're self-assured with the material items that you own or have obtained, and I feel like you're very self-driven. I feel like you guys are very self-made. I feel like you have a lot of material security and comfort, or at least you look like this. I think a lot of you have picked this pile. You definitely put a focus on your well-being. You do have a like a grounded self-esteem. You're very independent. You're very big on you know, creating harmonious environments as well. You could be a bit of a workaholic, and some of you could be living beyond your means. So just be mindful of excess spending. But yeah, if that sounds like you and you enjoyed looking at Sweetie's tush, awesome. Let's jump into it. Let's find out why people admire you. So before, what are we doing? No, I think we'll just jump straight into the tarot because it's been a long day already. All right, show me 5 cards, no reversals. Why do people admire? Pile number 1. Are we taking... Wow. We're going to take them all because they all came out of the deck really differently, like from different positions. And we'll take one more. And at the bottom of the deck, what do we got here? 7 of Cups. You know what I like about this 7 of Cups? The guy is out, he's sitting there, he doesn't really know what he's going to eat. He's got choices. But what I like about this 7 of Cups is he's sitting on his own, okay? Some 7 of Cups you can see, like I think... I used a different deck. I didn't use the same deck. That's all right. like some Seven of Cups, it's like all these hands reaching out to a person, which gives me the impression like, you know, people, like if that card is reflecting somebody like who picked the pile, like people would see you as somebody who's got a lot of options. This card doesn't give me that same energy, like that same feeling. It gives me the feeling like this person has a lot of options in like a lot of areas, but maybe not so much in love. You know, they are sitting out at dinner on their own, they're confident, they're independent, like a Nine of Pentacles would be. And what I think a lot of people wholeheartedly really admire about you guys is the fact that you don't need a relationship. You don't need love to be independent, to be successful, to feel of value or worth, or have worth. I think a lot of people admire you. Maybe a lot of you are very single, like the Nine of Pentacles is a very single card. It talks about the single life, somebody wanting to be single, especially in a love reading. And I do want to kind of utilize my YouTube readings as a learning aid or a learning tool as well, because a lot of tarot readers will cross watch, and it is to help enhance. So I do feel like I have something to share there. But yeah, like I feel like for a lot of you are very single, and look at this Nine of Cups here. Like there is something about like this deck. Maybe the cups is more about love with food here. I don't know. Maybe some of you are really big foodies. I'm a massive fooder. Most water signs are. So maybe Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpios have picked this pile. But yeah, this Seven of Cups, you know, why do people admire you? I kind of feel like they admire you because you are a person who has a lot of options, but you're still very humble. And I'm kind of being drawn back to that harmonious energy of the Nine of Pentacles. You're not a person who sort of flaunts it. However, yeah, I could argue that with the Nine of Cups, but I'm getting a different message for that, what that is about. But yeah, the Seven of Cups definitely tells me people admire the fact that you are self-made. This Seven of Cups reiterates that energy in the Nine of Pentacles heavily for me. I think they admire the fact that you are happy to go anywhere on your own. Like a lot of people would never go to a restaurant on their own. You would. I think you may travel alone. You're happily doing things alone where they feel like they can't do that. So I think a lot of people heavily admire you because of your independence, again, which is reiterated in that Nine of Pentacles energy. So moving into the spread, Temperance, Nine of Cups, Eight of Wands, the Hermit, and the Page of Swords. The Temperance card that I get here, obviously Temperance is heavily linked to patience, and I feel like people admire you because you're happy to sit there and listen to anyone's probably bullshit. It doesn't necessarily have to be bullshit. That's just my lazy way of saying, you know, chit chat, whatever. But yeah, you're kind of like, I see you as somebody, even if you are talking to somebody and you are bored, you don't show you're bored. If you're in a rush and you need to get somewhere, you will patiently wait there until the person has finished before you like finally excuse yourself. I feel like for a lot of you, you have a tendency to be late because of other people holding you back to maybe talk about random shit that is not really of significant value to you. And I feel like people admire this because they're aware that you are time poor. They are aware that you're a busy person building your empire, as a Nine of Pentacles person is. So I feel like with the Temperance card, people find you quite angelic. You're very like, not timid. I wouldn't say you're timid, but you are like very kind-hearted, very angelic. You know, like when we cross paths with angelic people, they're very like gentle and nurturing, and they're soft-spoken. You give people the time of day that most people don't give them, is why I feel like a lot of people admire you. Now, the Nine of Cups, I feel like a lot of you could be foodies. Some of you could be known to really embellish in foods and maybe overeat. I feel like some of you could be advocates for emotional eating. So if you're stressed, you have a tendency to eat more. And I am a big believer like that is a positive thing, because your body's under stress. It's fighting, like your organs are fighting against like tension. So feeding it with food is, in my opinion, makes more sense than starving it, or like, just consuming like substance abuse and whatnot. So I kind of feel like maybe you have people around you who are living on the larger side of life, and maybe they admire you because you help them kind of navigate their emotional eating. So that won't probably apply to a lot of you, but I feel like you guys are really good at taking a step back and really analyzing why humans do what they do, and trying to help people justify or unpack why, they are doing something that maybe isn't the healthiest, but trying to find a silver lining or something like that. Either way, I think people admire how much food you eat. You could be a really petite person, you know how to put it away, and people might admire the fact that you are not shy when it comes to food. You may be friends with people who are very shy to eat around people. I remember back in the day, I used to be petrified to have to eat on a date or something like that. Now I'm like, step aside, body, wear the lamb collets. So yeah, I kind of get that vibe as well. Like maybe when you go out on dates, people admire the fact that you sit there and you really enjoy the food. You might get like several appetizers and then a main. Like when you go out and eat, you really go out and eat. Like you're not there to like have an entree and, I don't know, a bowl of soup or something like that. Eight of Wands is a great energy in regards to why people would admire you. I like how it's a big communication card for me, and we've got a darts board here, and they're all flying, like all darts are flying in the air at once. I think people really like the speed of your communication. I think a lot of you are your fast texters. So if people text you, text them back straight away. If people call you, you miss the call, you will call them back. People really admire the communication that they receive from you, which I do feel like we've picked up in the other previous cards. You're very organized with all these post-it notes on the wall. People really admire that you never miss a birthday, you never miss a beat. So like if you tell somebody you're going to call them back, you call them back. You're very swift in communication. You're very swift in movement. When you say you're going to go and meet somebody, you're always on time. You're never running late. You're just really well organized, put together person is what I really feel from these cards. Now we have the Hermit here. This kind of brings me back to the Seven of Cups energy that people really love. They love and admire you, pile one, because you are very spiritual, I believe, and I think you teach people how to go into a state of introspection and really reflect on their behavior. I feel like this is more probably with your haters, like people that you call out for doing the wrong thing to you. Maybe like they go into a state of introspection and really sit and reflect on the things that you have communicated. Everything you say is always accurate and on the mark. And I think people admire that, and I think it helps people grow. It also helps people heal. It might push them to emotionally eat, but there's nothing wrong with that. It's when it goes on for years and years and years, that's when it starts affecting the health. But yeah, the Hermit here, like he's sitting there meditating around a fire again with a tent out in the bush. What's this picture of? It's like a Buddha statue on that postcard there. And yeah, I just kind of feel like, you help people admire you because you help them see the light. You help them see the light of a situation that could be really bogging them down in life. You stay very cool, calm and collected. So in the heat of the moment or under pressure, everyone around you, maybe at work, is running around like flabbergasted. And you are like full zen. It's all good. We'll find a solution. People really like that energy. They really admire how chilled and relaxed you are. And I feel like if you do any sort of meditations, people admire that because you sort of open that door for them to, introduce that to their daily ritual routines. and so forth. But yeah, the Hermit card is a very loner wolf. Again, people really admire the fact that you don't settle in relationships that are not for your highest good. You could be around a lot of people who are in toxic marriages, toxic relationships. Then we have the Page of Swords. This is a very mischievous Page of Swords. It's like painting a statue. It's probably shouldn't be painting. Is this the Mona Lisa with some yellow paint? Does give me Page of Wands vibes, because Page of Wands is more the creative page. But Page of Swords is a card that's quite studious, and one that is like kind of constantly learning. So people might admire you because you are constantly learning in this life. Like you're a person who hasn't allowed their inner child to be overtaken by the seriousness of a day-to-day career or something. Like there's still this, you're still very focused on your career, but at the same time you're still very playful. You're still finding time to do like fun creative things is what I feel with this Page of Swords. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I really hope you enjoyed that. Let me know down in the comments. I'll see you next time. Bye. Pile number 2, welcome to your reading. Those of you who chose the Aventurine Crystal or King of Wands card. King of Wands is obviously linked with fire signs, specifically Sagittarius, but it's also, when dealing with the timeline, Scorpio. So some of you could have Sagittarius or Scorpio. Placement. So Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury, Mars, or Venus. Just a quick energy check-in with the King of Wands and who you could be. I always connect the King of Wands with a married person, and like specifically this guy is wearing a wedding ring, right? He's got a crown. He's a bit of a king. I kind of feel like you guys are really charismatic. I think when you do strive to be the best version of yourself, it's a very mature, in a very mature energy. But I feel like you are still very playful. You're very flirty. You're very, very good looking. You're very easy to look at. I think you get a lot of attention. It wouldn't matter where you are. I also feel like you're very assertive in your visions, in your dreams, in your goals. I also feel like you are very knowledgeable in all areas of your life. I think you like to refine any detail to make it better. So I kind of pick up Virgo energy of perfectionism. I think a lot of you could be in some kind of mentor role or mentorship. Maybe you are currently getting mentored. And some of you could be overcoming some like challenges. They could be relationship challenges. You could sort of identify with having like an impulsive nature, a bit hasty, a bit ruthless, especially when somebody is trying to like steal your thunder or steal your light. Speaking of light, might put some light on. It's getting dark. It's getting dark. Some of you could have just brought a house. You may really enjoy sitting in the sunshine, like, you know, you look kind of happy. Like I feel overall like you, or maybe you're in a state of like, what the fuck just happened? Like, you know, if you are overcoming any challenges, some of you could be just in complete, you know, when like life is going that fucking sideways, you get so delirious that you'll just start laughing about it, even though you shouldn't be laughing about it. It should be years before you're laughing at it. I feel like some of you have picked this pile. I feel like the aventurine crystal is very connected to the heart chakra. Some of you are a bit bruised and battered at the moment, and others of you are living like, you know, the high life. Like maybe you've recently fallen in love with somebody or you're moving the connection forward. But I feel like some of you are just going through this moment of like, how the fuck did this just happen? And you're just sort of like kind of delirious is the vibe I'm picking up. Like maybe somebody tried to come along and fuck you sideways. I don't know why I'm with the profanity, but yeah, let's see why people admire you. If that sounds like you, it'll either will or it won't. So we're not taking reversals for this read. I have been up since 4 a.m. It is 8 o'clock in the evening. So I will, wow, counterparts. Boring. Too funny. You are not afraid to tell people if something is boring. Queen of Wands, Queen of Pentacles. Love it. Six of Wands. You know what I love about you? If that's another queen, I'm going to lose it. Queen of Swords. Imagine if you get one more queen. No, but you do get the High Priestess. Ah! What's on the... Oh my God, you got the Empress on the bottom! Holy shit. To be fair, the High Priestess is pretty much a queen. It's a witchy queen. It's a witchy woo-woo. Alrighty, so the Empress. People, why do people admire you? I don't know. I really feel like people admire you because you're like, you're very ladylike. I feel like kind of coming back to that maturity of the King of Wands. I think a lot of people admire you because it doesn't matter what kind of situation you're in. You're always the best version of yourself. I think you compose yourself like no other. Although you could like with the High Priestess, I feel like although you could kung fu fighting, I don't know, maybe somebody does kung fu fighting, but like with the High Priestess, people admire you because maybe it's when like they've done the wrong thing or when they're aware that people have done the wrong thing to you, you could fucking go to town on them with like, I don't know, some maybe spiritual warfare, but you don't. And that's how I feel like every way we look at these individual cards in the spread, we're very like looking back at the Empress. So how would the Empress act when the Queen of Wands was faced with a challenge, when the Queen of Pentacles is faced with a challenge, when the Queen of Swords is faced with a challenge? And I think a lot of people admire you because you know how to handle every situation with a sense of maturity. So although like you could go off the deep end about X, Y, and Z, you don't. You sit back and you really trust in the divine that like, you know, if people want to sow something, they will reap what they're meant to sow. And I think a lot of people really admire this about you. You don't go looking for trouble. You don't go looking for revenge. And I think you have endured a lot in your life that puts you in this state of delirium of like, what the fuck has just happened? And I think a lot of people around you think, God, some horrible things really happened to you. And you don't allow it to like completely derail you is what I feel a lot of people admire you about you. I think you take a seat, you sit back and relax. So another example, it's not just about people coming for you. It's like, I don't know, a plane ride's delayed, a train's delayed, there's a traffic jam. Like you just go, you know what? It's cool. I'm just going to go and sit over here and I'll wait. Like you're very trusting of divine timing. You're very trusting of serendipitous moments. And this is something that can take people a lifetime to learn to trust that, you know, the truck in front of me is slowing me down. Yes, but there's a reason for this because I'm going to go slower, which means I'm going to get to like my destination at a different time, which, you know, may mean you cross paths with, you know, somebody or something, you know. And I feel like a lot of people admire this about you because you're very like go with the flow is what I feel. Even though like the Queen of Swords looks like she's losing her shit here because she can't figure out what to wear, you always know how to pull something together. Like you may be traveling quite light. You might pull out a small tiny bag, but you can whip out a gown. And people really admire the fact that you don't need a lot to look like you're worth a lot is what I feel. And I think a lot of people around you admire you because they might not have a lot and you might have a lot or you may not have a lot, but you always make people feel very rich in your energy. Like you always make people see the brighter side of a situation or their life, as opposed to just always being in dark, like negative energy. Now, the Queen of Wands is a very witchy woo-woo queen, but we've got this corporate-looking woman with a big sunflower and boring. So why do people admire you? I feel like with the vibe I'm getting here, people admire how you can turn a really boring subject or conversation or situation into a very fun and interesting one. I feel like you can take people's concepts at work and make them more engaging with maybe the staff. And I think your bosses or your colleagues really admire the fact that you make work probably a lot more fun than anyone else at work. People might admire the fact that they know what you're listening to is boring, but you still sit there and listen as well. You are very attractive, like heavily attractive. To have the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands literally side by side, and the Empress, like you are so attractive. Like people admire your physical appearance. They also admire your physical attributes. So whether it's your tush, your boobs, like your face, your nose, your lips, your torso is definitely seen, and sort of like your arms as well if you're masculine. But yeah, people definitely admire your looks heavily. Now, the Queen of Pentacles gives me the impression like your sense of composure. I feel like if you're a mother or a father, people really admire how well you look after your children. It could be fur babies as well. You could be very big on healthy living, healthy lifestyle, eating healthy here with all the fruits and veg. So people might admire the fact that you are conscious of your health, you are conscious of healthy eating, and why they admire that is because you kind of help them be better with their eating as well. I kind of feel like a lot of people who admire you may not actually tell you they admire you. I think a lot of people would feel a sense of inferior around your pile too because you are so beautiful or handsome. With the Six of Wands, people admire for some of you, they admire you because you celebrate other people's victories more than they celebrate them themselves. And other people get admired with the Six of Wands that you promote your victories or your success because nobody else will. So people admire the fact that you are, what's the word? You're kind of boastful, but in a positive way. Like you boast when it's right too. I don't feel like you walk around, you think you're better than anybody else. But when you've done a good job, you know how to like reward and recognize. So I kind of feel like that's more for the fact that people admire you when they come and share their wins with you. You really celebrate it. Whereas, like in Australia, we have a very tall poppy syndrome culture. So like if you're trying to kick goals or like achieve success, when you share that with Australians, and don't come for me if you're Aussie, but like try it. You could actually try it. And I've got told by like many people from other countries tell me the same, like agree with this. Like you'd be like, oh, I want to achieve this and this. And then they just try and put a negative on it always. Doesn't matter. And they'd just be like ridiculous negative like opinions or comments or whatever. And it's called tall poppy syndrome. Like they'll squash your ideas. If you're being successful at work, like they'll put some kind of negative spin on it. Say you're going to, or like even one like you're going to go visit friends. Oh, you're only going there for 2 days. It's a really long time, like long way to go for 2 days. Like, well, sorry, Debbie, like we don't have a week to visit friends. Like we have work, whatever. Anyway, I digress because I feel like I'm going off track. But yeah, I feel like the Six of Wands is more about you guys being admired because you celebrate people's wins, no matter how big or small, and you really make people feel seen and heard. I think people genuinely like to engage in conversation with you and like get your feedback is what I feel. Queen of Swords. you know, she's alone in a room kind of having a whack attack, okay? So I kind of feel like people admire you because you could be going through hardships or overcoming challenges, but you do it behind closed doors, and nobody would even know when your life or your house is burning down. And I think people admire the fact that you hold your shit so well together that I guess they learn from that themselves. Like, you know, you can have your house burning down, but it doesn't mean you don't show up for work, or you don't show up looking the part. Don't allow other people trying to bring you down to fuck up your future. I feel like that's the vibe I'm getting from you guys. I feel like you have a lot of strength within you, and people really admire that. I think a lot of your close friends that are aware of your your experiences and lessons in this life, they really admire you. So if they talk about you to other people, those people can see that light in their eyes, that energy around them when they're talking about you. It's very inspiring, I feel. And then, the high priestess, although we sort of touched on this, is like witchy woo-woo, but I don't know. I feel like people admire the fact that you can be dressed to the nines, but you can also be very much like girl, guy next door. You dress for the occasion accordingly. So I feel like you don't try and outshine people, and people really admire this about you. Even though you could completely outshine everyone in a room, I think people admire you because you don't. So the example I'm getting is someone's getting married or an engagement party. You don't rock up in the white dress. Like, you rock up in the lime green dress, the yellow dress, whatever dress that would not look like the bride's dress is the best analogy. But that's what I got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed that. See you next time. Bye. Pile number 3, welcome to your readings. For those of you who chose the clear quartz crystal or the tower, I'll be completely honest. The first card that came out for your pile was the ten of burdens. I was going to say 10 of wands. I was like, oh no, and I put it back in. And I said, I don't want that one. And the tower came out. So I was like, okay. And then when I think about the clear quartz and the tower, I feel like a lot of you, so just a quick energy check in here, is you're very good at transmuting negative energy. I feel like you have definitely gone through a lot of tower moments, trials and tribulations, whether you're currently going through that or you're a person who's having the luxury of getting all their karmic lessons out of the way before like the second half of your life. So, your earlier years are pretty full on, 20s, 30s, 40s, even maybe full on as well. But you should see, or you should intuitively feel like come 50s, 60s and 70s, it should get easier. Obviously we have strong Scorpio energy here with the tower. We've got a tower on fire built on a pile of skulls. So I'm kind of getting like death energy as well. So I feel like a lot of you have had a lot of transformations because of these trials and tribulations, these karmic lessons that have been thrown your way. But they've never completely broken you. So when I look at the building here, it's not completely broken. It has not completely snapped off. It's at the tip of it, but it's not. So that sort of indicates to me like, although there have been times in your life where you've been completely broken, it didn't break you completely. And that's, I feel, with this like clear quartz energy, like you take that energy and it makes you stronger. Like clear quartz is like the strongest, people would challenge that. I think diamonds are. But I think about the clear quartz crystal that assists running one of the biggest computers in the world. I think there are still computers and watches that clear quartz crystal is required. It needs to be utilized for those things to work. So I just feel like I would have to say people heavily admire you based off just the Tower card representing your pile. And although it was an energy check-in, I just think they admire you because when they get to know you, and I feel this is more on a really deep level, when family and friends get to learn like about the things you've endured, fuck, they're admired. Like they're so... I feel like mesmerize or just idolize you in the fact that like, how have you not like allowed life just to consume you, absorb you, and just turn you into like this bitter see you next Tuesday, right? I don't want to say the C-bomb because I feel like some of you could be going through a Tower moment at this time. But yeah, like you just I feel like it's things get good and then something really shit happens. Things get good, something really shit happens. Like, and then like it could be like when something shit is happening, there is something like bubbling under the surface ready to like come again. And I just feel like a lot of people admire the fact that like they'd be dead if they were you. They'd be, when they hear the stories and things that you've endured, they just are like, how are you still alive? Like, I'd be dead. There's no way I'd be able to survive that. You know, other ways we can look at the Tower card as an energy check-in, obviously, like it's very chaotic, it's very destructive. So some of you could be in a very destructive era at this time. You could be, you know, dabbling in substance abuse and burning homes down, burning like in the sense of metaphorically, you know, burning friendships down, burning family relationships down. Like you could be really going to town on people who were trying to like, I don't know, create conflict and chaos and tragedy in your life. Some of you are reaping... like some of you are seeing people being exposed, or you're seeing, like seeing people receive karma or something like that. But yeah, if that resonates, awesome. Let's jump into it. Let's find out why people admire pile number 3, and we're not taking reversals. Judgment. It's an interesting one. Looks like a comedian. Nice outfit. It's like angel wings on the collar. There's the Death card. Ace of Pentacles. 7 of Wands. Nine of Swords. Okay, we have the 5 of Wands as the... Why would people admire you with the 5 of Wands? What's going on here? Huh. Are you the sales girl or are you the girl sitting in the chair? 5 of points, 5 of coins, 5 of pentacles is a card about like financial hardship, overspending, like buying things, living beyond your means. I don't know, maybe with the 5 of coins here, like you could be a person why people admire you. Like you could be one of those people who like money does grow on trees, you know, like you can't take it with you. Like there's no point like stressing about money. Find a way that where there's a will, there's a way. Like if you're going to spend money, make sure you only buy it when it's on sale. Like, you might actually help people navigate their financial hardship as well here. Like, okay, cool. All right. So you're in a bit of trouble. Let me help you. Like maybe you come up with an idea like, let's sell all your stuff. Let's have a garage sale. People might admire you because you teach people on how to overcome financial hardship. Maybe people can come to you and be like, oh my God, I've got financial hardships. So people might admire you with the fact that you can help them navigate a financial hardship. Maybe people come to you to get a loan. Maybe people admire you because they know that they could come to you if they were completely stuck. You're like a financial safety net here. I don't know. I just kind of feel like it's a very interesting imagery for the Five of Pentacles. She just looks really stressed out because everything's on sale. And she's like, hey, maybe you teach people not to buy everything that is on sale. I just feel like you're the person trying to calm this person down. But then is she trying to calm her down, or is she trying to take her money? So I don't know. We are asking the question, what do people admire about you? And I feel pretty comfortable just sitting with the fact that people can come to you for financial advice in how do I overcome like a certain hardship? How am I going to pay for this? Could I borrow a loan? That sort of vibe is what I pick up. I feel like that's not going to resonate with everyone. Some of you could be really good with makeup. So maybe people admire you because you're good with makeup, because there's a fuck ton of makeup here. You could be a big advocate. If it's not on sale, don't buy it. So maybe you kind of promote a certain way of spending money that people admire that. So you're a person who's like, oh, look, I'll wear all the latest fashion, but unless it's on sale, I'm not buying it. So people probably admire the fact that you are not afraid to sound cheap, because a lot of people in this day and age, like, they want to present themselves that they can afford anything, but the economy, like a block of Cadbury chocolate, not on sale, is $8. I used to like, that's fucking crazy, $8. I remember it used to be like $4 only like 2 years ago. It's crazy. I don't like, yeah. And anyway, so I'm going to keep it moving. We have the Judgment, we have the Death, we have the Ace of Coins, Seven of Wands, and Nine of Swords. Now, the Judgment card is a card that I heavily connect with comeback. So very witty. Like if somebody fires shots at you, you fire them back. And I see this person as they're like running out onto a stage like a comedian. You know, I feel like people admire you because you are very witty. You're very constructive in banter. So when somebody tries to like banter with you, like put you down, you can put them down in a very passive aggressive manner, and people admire this. They love this about you, Pile 3. I think you definitely know how to make people laugh by stirring the pot, so to speak. You're not afraid to tell people what you think or what you feel. People admire that. I feel like a lot of you are quite a bit of a jokester. I think you like to be center of attention, and people admire the fact that when you're around, the attention's never on them. So you might be around a lot of shy people. I just feel like you know how to work a room. People admire your confidence. They admire your intelligence as well here. I do feel they admire your judgment. Like your opinions matter with those people around you. They admire how, like, your morals, your values, what you think, what you feel. And I feel like it's because you are quite angelic. At the end of the day, you're a very good person. And people admire this because you shouldn't be a good person with everything that you've endured. People admire the fact that you should really be broke and depressed and never leave your house, but you are always at work. You don't allow you don't allow trials and tribulations to dictate your future or your like current circumstances. I feel like although you guys may go through mental health challenges, you still get up and go to work. People admire this because they'd rather just lay down and die. So we've got the Death card here. It's a very, again, interesting thing. I think there's a placenta. Yeah, it's the placenta down in there. Some of you may have eaten your placenta. I have a friend, she ate hers in a smoothie, I think. Yeah, it's different. And yeah, people might admire how like nurturing and motherly you are. There's a lot going on in this. You know, I never really understood this imagery. We do have a baby that looks like it's lit up, like she's alive. The mother, it's questionable. It's moving to a dark. His head is in his hands. And like, that's a big amount of organ sitting in that bowl. So why would people admire that? Maybe they admire the fact that you appreciate life, you appreciate death and life. I feel like, what's the best way of saying this? I don't know. I feel like endings for you, like people admire you, I should say. Hang on. People admire you because you see endings as a new beginning, right? So the death card is about endings, beginnings, transformations. So yeah, I kind of feel like based off the Tower energy and the Five of Coins and stuff, people admire the fact that you see beauty in every moment. Like you see a new beginning in every moment. It doesn't matter what kind of tragedy comes of it. You will always find the beauty in it, or the benefit of it, or the silver lining of it, so to speak, is what I feel here. And you're lucky. You have little sweetie here. She did not come out on the other, well, she didn't come and lay down like she does. She's so cute. Honestly, when I'm driving home from work every day, I just think about how she will come and chill with me and look like that. It really makes my day. But yeah, the death card's a very interesting one. I don't feel like I can get too fixated on the imagery for this. Just feel like you'll always find the brighter side of a situation. It doesn't matter how dark a situation or experience is, you'll always find the bright side. I feel like the good example I'm getting is, say if you go through a really bad breakup and it's the worst, you can't stop crying as you keep reflecting and focusing on like the hurt. You eventually get to the point where you're like, actually, we weren't compatible. Like all of that horrible stuff, that Tower moment wouldn't have happened if we were meant to be together. And I think people admire you for that. That yes, this happened. Yes, it was traumatizing. Yes, it ruined my soul. But had that not happened, you would have remained with that person and missed the actual opportunity of maybe meeting the divine counterpart, meeting the man of your dreams or your woman of your dreams. So I feel like people admire you because you know how to see the light in every dark situation, or if that makes sense. Ace of Pentacles, very interesting one. Looks like she's made a snow cone or something like that, and she's putting a lid on it maybe. Ace of Pentacles is a card that talks about abundance and prosperity. I feel like people admire, like, see how she's just wearing those casual clothes. I see Martha Stewart here. Some of you may be a fan of Martha Stewart. I highly doubt she would get into tarot readings, but lol. But I kind of get the vibe in this is like you are so abundant, you're very prosperous. I feel like you have great ideas. You probably have a few side hustles, some businesses, but you don't look like you have a lot, even though you have a lot. People admire the fact that you don't flaunt your success in their face, is what I feel like. People would have no idea that you're as successful as you are based off your looks. Excuse me, is what I feel. You're very grounded, you're very down to earth, and I think people really admire the fact that they can talk to you about anything. And I feel like you give off those mums vibes, that cool dad vibes, like people genuinely feel comfortable to come to you with their problems and seek advice from you. I feel like with the Seven of Wands, why people admire you is you teach them how to have boundaries and set boundaries with people who are trying to use them and abuse them. Like, I feel like people can come to you with, again, a bit of that Five of Pentacles energy, with like a stressful situation. You can help them navigate through it, whether it's a toxic boss, a narcissistic boyfriend, like you're able to help people. We see that again here with the Nine of Swords. I love your feet. I just love your feet. Like, people admire your resilience here as well with the Seven of Wands. And again, like, you have a lot of resilience with all the Tower moments you've endured. So resilience, you're very persistent as well. Like, on the flip side of this, people admire the fact that even though they keep telling you to go away, they don't need your help, you'll still rock up and be like, do you need it yet? Are you all right? You're very good on checking in on people that need help, because you know maybe you've had to go through your Tower moments very much alone. I also feel people admire the fact that when they do have an opportunity to help you, you might say no at first, but if they're persistent, you'll eventually let them help you, because you have a lot of people around you who admire you because of everything you've endured, but you've done it alone and you haven't allowed it to like completely derail your life. Like, and when I say that, it's like turn to substance abuse and never walk away from it, that sort of vibe. And then to wrap up your reading with the Nine of Swords, it just gives me the vibe like we have this girl. Is it a ghost? I don't know. She kind of looks like a ghost sitting on top. Maybe like the Nine of Swords, people admire you because you help them, again, navigate their ghost, you know, the elephant in the room as well. You might actually suffer mental health issues with the Nine of Swords. So people admire the fact that you're very open about mental health issues, it being completely normal, and it's okay because life's a roller coaster. Like, one day you're going to be, you know, eating frozen yogo in the ice cream shop, and then next minute you're going to have this annoying dickhead at work trying to like get you to do their job when you shouldn't have to. I don't know, I just feel like you're very grounded, you're very easy, you're very relatable. And I feel like with the Nine of Swords, you help people alleviate their anxieties when they come to work or when they're in a social setting. You make people feel normal when they have what would they deem as abnormal emotions. I also feel like what people admire about you is it doesn't matter how much they try and get over you, they can't. It's like you haunt them in their dreams. And I think why they admire that is the fact that it could be a bit of karma. Like, I feel like the Nine of Swords here, people might admire the fact that, I don't know what it is. Like, you don't say anything. I think you kind of maybe speak to people in their dreams here. People might admire the fact that you don't call them out in public. You wait until you kind of get them in their dreams or something. So you could be very witchy to be able to jump, like dream jumper. I've never even picked up on that energy before, but I'm going to leave it there. It's such a long read, but I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know down in the comments. Sending much love and light. Bye.